In episode 10, Silpha is seen practicing swordsmanship alone. Her target objects are straw mats that have been compressed as much as possible with sorcery. Actually, Silpha can cut through the objects, but if she swings her sword with full force, it will bend. The straw mats that Silpha cut apart appear to be falling apart, and it's extremely heavy. Silpha feels disappointed because this makes it impossible for her to demonstrate her strength in a real fight since her sword cannot withstand it. Silpha then recalls Pazuzu, whose body is much tougher than the straw mats. Therefore, she cannot defeat him because she cannot fight with her full strength. The scene then shifts to the present, where Ren feels relieved after being rescued by Albert and the others. However, Albert and Silpha look at them angrily. Albert and Silpha then interrogate Ren and the other members of the Assassin's Guild. Silpha points her sword at them and asks where Lloyd is. Silpha threatens that if they lie, she will take them down one by one. Galilea then says that Lloyd is fighting at Lorda's castle. Albert then asks more details, with whom Lloyd is fighting, and the reason for the fight. Teria and Ren then say that Lloyd is fighting to protect them, and he is fighting someone who looks like the last king. Hearing this, Babylon then covers Ren's mouth. He reminds them of their promise to Lloyd when they ate together in the forest, which was not to tell anyone from the kingdom about Lloyd's true power and Grimm. It would be very troublesome if people in the palace knew and would disturb Lloyd, who wants to learn about magic. And now, it would be dangerous if people from the kingdom saw Lloyd's fight. They would discover Lloyd's power and only become nuisances. Finally, they unanimously agreed to say that Lloyd is currently fighting someone weak. Silpha knows they are lying and prepares to swing her sword. Albert also looks very angry, showing Lloyd's underwear and asking them why Lloyd has to fight for a group of people who display such items as a spectacle. Galilea then explains that the underwear was dirty because of his slime, so he washed and dried it. Misunderstanding this explanation, Albert and Silpha become even angrier upon hearing it. Then, bravely, Ren tried to explain everything, stating that she and her friends were also worried about Lloyd because he had helped them. They were willing to do anything and were ready to be punished. However, the demons had taken Jade, whom they considered family. That's why Lloyd was fighting to defend them. Ren wanted Silpha and Albert to trust her. The atmosphere was briefly silent, and suddenly, a demon ran towards them intending to attack. Fortunately, Alice and her monster, Riru, managed to stop the demon. Alice then said they could trust what Ren said because Riru would definitely bite if he sensed even the slightest malicious intent. Albert and Silpha agreed to trust Riru's instincts for now and decided to focus on fighting the demons before them. Albert then instructed Silpha to find Lloyd and help him. Fearing they might be discovered, Ren tried to block Silpha. At the same time, an attack suddenly destroyed the bridge that Silpha was about to cross to reach the castle. Half of the bridge was destroyed, making it impossible to cross, which made Silpha very upset. She was eager to meet Lloyd and assist him. It turned out that the attack was launched by Guizarm, who did not want anyone interfering with his fight against Lloyd. At the gate, Albert ordered his troops to attack the demons using their spellbound swords, causing the demons to howl in pain from the magical flames emitted by Albert's troops. Albert noticed that the magical attacks were not very effective against the demons, but they were not entirely useless. Dian also stepped forward and attacked with his sword, which emitted flames much larger than those of the kingdom's troops. The demons howled even louder, but they still seemed capable of moving. The attacking troops were visibly exhausted because the spellbound swords used their magical power. The blazing flames also hindered their top close-range fighters, Riru and Silpha, from fighting effectively. Silpha was still at the edge of the bridge, riding Shiro and commanding him to jump across the destroyed bridge. However, it seemed impossible because the distance was too great. Realizing this, Silpha got down from Shiro, planning to cross using a rope. Shiro reminisced about Lloyd petting him, and he was very eager to meet him. Shiro then jumped alone, but as expected, he fell into the river because the jump was not far enough. As Silpha looked to the other side of the bridge, suddenly a demon jumped up to attack Silpha from below the bridge. Fortunately, she was able to dodge the attack. The demon attacked with a sword and very quick movements. All of his attacks were parried by Silpha with her sword. Members of the Assassin's Guild who saw it were very impressed by the swift movements. The demon then said that the other demons were level 10, while he was a level 8 demon. He was a practitioner of the demon blade form, the strongest teaching from the netherworld. Hearing this, Silpha realized for the first time that there were levels in the demon world. Silpha then mocked the hat on the demon's head, thinking it was dung. Naturally, this made the demon very angry. Back at the gate, Albert, who had been observing the battle between the demons and his troops, concluded that the bodies of the people in the kingdom of Lordost had been taken over by demons. He was contemplating ways to save them when suddenly a demon leaped, attempting to attack him from behind. Fortunately, Babylon swiftly jumped in and broke the demon's neck, causing it to fall to the ground. The demon struggled, trying its hardest to move its human body, but its efforts were in vain. Babylon then told Albert that there was nothing more they could do for the people possessed by the demons. The only thing left in them was demons in human skin, and the human souls had long since died. Albert then watched as the struggling demon finally died along with its human body. Albert thanked Babylon for the advice. He then walked forward, approaching the demons that were burning. Albert began chanting his spell, and the sky above the demons was covered with Albert's magical power. Albert released his magic, causing fire to fall from the sky like meteors, directly hitting the demons. The scene shifts to the battle between Silpha and the level 8 demon. They are seen clashing swords with each other, launching attack after attack. The demon uses the demon blade form sword technique, while Silpha uses the langless sword technique. The members of the Assassin's Guild can only watch their fight in awe. The battle appears evenly matched. Silpha gets a cut on her temple, and the demon also gets a slash on his temple. However, the demon has regeneration abilities, healing quickly, unlike Silpha, who lacks this power. Seeing Silpha's incredible abilities, the demon is interested in taking Silpha's body as his next vessel. This way, his sword technique would reach an even higher level, and he would also possess Silpha's langless sword technique. Silpha is confused by what he means. The demon then demonstrates the sword technique of Lordost and attacks Silpha with a fighting style completely different from before. The demon explains that the sword technique he just used is from the human body he is possessed. He then shows his hand, which is covered in scars from training. The demon can even access the memories of the humans he possesses. To him, humans are just like clothes that demons wear, and now he wants to use Silpha's body. Silpha then jumps and uses her sword to perform the demon blade form technique against the demon. The demon barely blocks it, shocked that Silpha can also use the demon blade form. Silpha explains that she learned and mimicked it by watching him. She then mocks the demon for not being able to replicate techniques without stealing a body. This makes the demon very angry. Silpha then calls for Shiro and takes a sword from within Shiro's fur. She says that a creature with a borrowed body like the demon can never defeat a human who has been continually forged by life's lessons. Then, in a flashback, Lloyd is seen running towards Silpha, carrying an object. The object Lloyd brings is a sword that he and Diane made especially for Silpha. Lloyd says that the sword doesn't have any fantastic magical powers, but is crafted with an emphasis on strength and flexibility. According to Lloyd, the sword will be highly compatible with Silpha, even if she uses all her full strength. With this sword, Silpha can surely kill demons easily. Lloyd then explains that a demon's true form lies in its spirit, so if they don't have a body, they can't do much. That's why they either form their own bodies or possess human bodies. Even though demons take over human bodies, the essence remains within the human body. So if the human body dies, the demon inside will also die. However, a human body controlled by a demon becomes extremely strong. Weak attacks won't be effective. If they do hit, the demon will quickly heal. The way to defeat them is with a single lethal strike. Silpha approached Lloyd and asked why he imbued the sword with the magic of strength and flexibility. Lloyd then answered that he noticed Silpha always seemed to be holding back when swinging her sword. So he thought maybe Silpha couldn't unleash her full strength because she was worried about her sword. Silpha hugged Lloyd, deeply moved by his response, realizing how much he had been paying attention to her. Silpha promised to take care of the sword for the rest of her life. Back in the present, Silpha appeared ready with her sword. The demon tried to provoke her, saying that humans didn't need to struggle because their future had already been decided, a world doomed by the cunning of demons. Initially, the demons planned to lure Jade out after stealing all the bodies in the kingdom of Lordost. The news of the war had been convincingly spread worldwide. Naturally, Jade immediately returned to Lordost. Ren and the others were furious upon hearing the demon's confession. The demons fabricated stories about the war that Jade despised. It turned out that all of this was the work of the demons. Silpha then advanced towards the demon with her sword in hand. She prepared to launch her attack, saying that the future the demon described would never happen. Not to be outdone, the demon also readied a secret technique, demon blade form. They both launched their attacks simultaneously. The demon's body was cleaved in half and fell before the members of the Assassin's Guild.